Welcome back, everybody, to our HyzerMedia coverage of Horizon Cup 4 feature card back nine. My name is Lou Garcia, and I am joined with Dave Oster of HyzerMedia. How's it going, bud?
Good. How are you, Lou?
Still doing great.
Excellent.
We had a bit of a front nine. We've seen some things go our way, not go our way. We've seen the course has some wind to contest with. We're getting into our back nine coverage.
Yeah, and we saw Jacob with the only clean front nine out of the card. As we start with hole 10, it's a par 3, 322 feet with an alternate tee, about 120 to 150 feet to the left of the original tee. A couple different lines to look at. Forehand line close to the woods, big hyzer line. We'll see what the guys on this card decide to do.
Jacob with a strong backhand. There is a forehand line here. He opted for the backhand. I think it worked out in his favor. I'm lining up the forehand here, going with a Fusion Enforcer. And that just flirted with the outside a little bit too much there.
Just a bit too wide. Looked like good power. Got a little bit more hyzer on that one. That would have been looking like it was going to land right near the basket.
Smooth power. And that is heading right to the basket. Awesome. That's a good shot from Chris right there.
Chris took more of a middle line. So you see Jay go turn over your forehand line. Again, calling it for it to stay up, and the elevation dropping gives them just enough power to get into the circle.
So this has still got to be like about 100 feet.
Oh, just a bit too stable. That was looking good for 75% of your flight. That would have been a very nice throw in from that distance.
It felt like a comfortable half go. Great putt for birdie from Jacob.
His putting game is definitely one of the high points of his game, and he doesn't really even have a low point, so that's saying something. Just too high on your putt.
Oh boy. Well, they say it's better to miss high than to miss low.
That's right. You committed to your putt. If there's a silver lining, that's it.
And it was straight.
That's right, yeah. You got 2 out of the 3 things you need to make a putt. As we see Jay and Chris tap in theirs to bring Jay under par.
I messed up the frame. I apologize to my card mates for messing up that frame.
Yeah.
Moving on to hole 11, par 5 here, 840 feet. This hole has everything. It has a little casual creek, has uphill, downhill, has left and it has right, has OB. It's challenging. The main play is to just make your way as close as you can to the creek off the tee, get across the creek, get up and down as easily as possible. So, first on the box, we got Jacob. I believe we're still dealing with like a tailwind at this point. A little low, and it was still in its flex part of its flight, so it caught an edge and start rolling around.
Chris gets more of the height that you're looking for, sneaks through that tree, and gets quite a bit down the fairway, right about where you were saying you probably want to be looking to land. So, great shot by Chris.
You don't necessarily have to get to the creek to get the birdie. Just a clean look to get across and make some way up the hill would definitely be helpful. And that is skipping into the woods.
Looked like it might have just crested that hill, but as we saw it coming over, just caught the ground, skipped an unfavorable direction. Yours needs to turn, keep turning, and it doesn't look like it's going to. Catch the trees.
Shot right down. So lucky that shot right down did not fade into the woods.
Yeah, the rough on the left side of this hole can definitely impede any really forward momentum as Jacob
Sends it.
absolute straight shot through the gap.
That actually makes it tougher from up there on the hill to get the birdie.
Yeah, he threw it too far, actually. As you're left with nothing but a forehand roller. Catches a tree. Oh, but it keeps rolling into the casual creek. You might have a look from there, but definitely not the amount of distance you were looking for.
Looking to get down and get across, and it hooked up, which I got a lucky kick off the tree and kept pushing forward, which was good. Tiligadas pulling out a very rare forehand, getting across the creek, and he's starting to set up for his birdie now. So he gets up and down from there. It's a birdie for him. Chris hitting that branch, cutting him down in his prime.
And not the worst lie you could have had in this creek. You got almost all the way through, because it does get pretty muddy right in the middle of that. And great shot shape and power from a standstill. Bad footing. That was a great shot.
I don't know how I did that. Can we see that again? So yeah, Jason's in an ideal spot. This is what I'm talking about. Getting across this little creek in two, leaving yourself with this straight look up the hill. And he turned it.
Turned it over, catches a tree into another tree.
I'm not sure what the wind was doing there, but that's definitely not what he drew up.
Jacob getting through all of these trees and landing right around circle's edge, maybe just inside. Chris with a nice open hyzer line towards the basket, and that should work.
That's what he's got left for birdie. You could count it.
And Jay right beside him, although not for a birdie look. Oh, needs to sit. Oh. And it does. That is a long hill, and it can roll a long way.
Absolutely.
And here's you for a birdie after two not great shots, somehow manufacturing a birdie, and we hear a dog barking at the passing by car, screwing up Chris's routine.
You can't phase that guy.
Yeah, able to refocus. Even the dogs cheering for Chris out here.
Everybody makes good on their cleanup putts. And the last tap in right there. That's hole 11, folks.
So we will move on to hole 12, a extended tee pad across the street behind the original tee pad. Still a par 3, but now a 402-foot hole, downhill the whole way. Instead of one big tree in the middle of the fairway, now you have two to contend with, and also not skip down the hill too long into the OB road.
So Chris is throwing this VIPX Giant, which is really overstable. I mean, it just allows him to lean into it, 100% committed, and let the disc do all the work. He just needed that up in the air just a little more, and he would have been running that basket no problem.
You're throwing similar line, just a bit more height, like you said you wanted. Oh, and that flare skip, seemingly giving the basket a scare. Not quite sure where that ended up. Don't think it went too far into the road. going to the road at all, I don't believe. Jacob going with a forehand the other side of these trees. A little bit of airplay.
Yep, the way the wind's playing over there, it doesn't allow the disc to track back too far on the forehand, at least for this round. I think the wind's changed on this hole for round 2, which made it very interesting for everybody. And just a little bit short there as well.
Come on.
Oh,
Give me one.
you hear it from Jay himself. He's been so close on so many putts today. Seems like none of them are dropping for him.
It's tough to not make these putts, but he's really got to draw on the fact that he's still on target. He's not missing by a lot. They're all hitting chains. They're all right there. And he's got to, realize that he's putting from far most of the time. He's just got to give himself an opportunity to get a little closer to the basket, get that routine putt going, and then he's going to turn on what he could do on this course for sure.
And Chris and Jacob both just a little bit low on their putts. No one really getting too far inside the circle in this one. We'll see if you can pull out the only birdie for this card. Oh, and just a bit high.
I love that spot on the basket.
Yeah, it really seems like it. You need to pick a new favorite spot,
Listen,
it seems like.
two out of 3. It was center and it was high. It just was too high.
Yeah.
Chris makes good on his putt. That is awesome.
He went quite a bit past the basket. Not an easy tap-in comebacker. Had a little bit of a tester, but he was able to do it. As the other 3 of you just tap in your pars, and we'll move on to hole 13.
Hole 13 is a par 4, 564 feet. It's downhill for the first part, and then it flattens out as we get to this part of the fairway. Landing just past the center point of this hole sets you up for a nice slow turnover or a nice forehand. The hardest thing to contest with is the tee pad is so built up and the ceiling is so low. So just throwing a nice level shot out there is key here, and beautifully executed by Chris.
Yes, absolutely. Like you mentioned, once you get through kind of this first set of trees, it really does open up wide, where if you go straight with a little bit of a fade back to the left or even a hard fade to the left, the fairway's open enough that you should have a shot back towards the green. And you just completely pure one through there past where our catch cam can make it to.
Let's see as Jacob lines this one up. Just got on top of the disc a little bit. It just causes a downward flight and most likely a late release. So not the send he was looking for, but if we know Jacob, he's going to throw from there.
Yeah.
Birdie could still be possible. Par is most likely definite.
He certainly is tested and likes the battle on these holes where he doesn't have the best tee shot. I see here, he seems to be favoring his forehand a lot. I don't know if that's a normal play or for where he's landing on this round a lot.
Well, the forehand is definitely a great tool out on this property because you're going to be forced with pretty much open looks. And if you have an option to go left and it's more open, you're going to want to go from that left gap. So, especially on this hole, forehand shapes towards the basket from where he was. And if you're where Chris is, mid or putter on a nice turn is also optimal. It's good. Just inside the circle there. Yeah. Yep. Didn't focus enough there.
Yeah, that's... Oh. A very good run from there. Unfortunate tree kick, but you did get across the casual creek to give you a look at the basket. Everybody's on this side of it. Jacob almost making another circle's edge putt. Chris actually wandered a little bit into this casual creek. Looks like he's got a clean look at the basket. Just a little bit of a wet footing.
Yeah, he's kind of forced to take this because if he takes his casual relief, and he makes a putt. But to finish the thought, if he were to take the casual relief, he's going to put branches and higher grass into his play. So, toughed it out, stuck his foot in the mud and went for it, and he got it.
He had to do it.
And this is Tiligadas for birdie. Birdie. Cash money.
He's on a roll now.
Myself and Jacob. Jacob and myself with the par. Chris and Jason with the birds.
So we move on to hole 14. We want to thank Smokey's Craft Barbecue again for sponsoring the drone coverage on this back nine video as well.
I'm so hungry.
I know. Barbecue is definitely one of my favorites. A little bit farther back for this hole than the long tee. Still a par 3, but 380 feet, and an OB creek and beyond to the left, as opposed to the usual just the creek being.
Yeah, there's a small creek that wanders through the hole. That's usually OB if you're just in it. That's per the T sign. But for this event, we decided to mark the high grass on this side of the fairway as an OB line, that everything to the left of it would be OB. So, gives it a little bit more of like a not so easy 2 here. Definitely, this hole forces you to try to get to circle's edge or make the putt from circle 2. That's what a good tee shot's going to do for you here.
And you can see it really changes the line that everybody's throwing, as opposed to going through the tree gaps. You're really trying to go around them to the right side.
Just playing it as close as you can to the tree to get the maximum action towards the basket. You go too wide, you're just trying to climb too much of a hill at that point. So it's a tough shot if you're trying to get close, but the name of the game on this is to get in putting range and try to make the long one. You make the putt here, you get the 2, you're definitely gaining a stroke on the field.
And all 4 of you had no trouble with the creek. Jay was a little bit wide, didn't quite get it fading back enough, but has a good upshot, parked right in the basket. Chris as well. Nice straight shot, landing right in the basket, nothing fancy.
This is Jacob's look for a birdie here. He's got to be just at circle 2's edge. I'm just about halfway inside circle 2. And I'm giving sign language to the basket, asking it questions as to why, and I got 0 response.
Yes, I've tried that as well, and it really doesn't seem like that ever gives you anything you're looking for.
No. Just missing my stroke right now. Too many what felt good putts didn't go my way, so I'm at the point of overthinking it. Gotta let that go because there's a whole lot of golf still. There's the rest of this round. There's a whole nother round to come. Got to get it together.
And moving on to hole 15, a par 4, 572 feet from the normal and only tee on this hole. A couple plays here. You can go wide right over the road, try to have it fade back. A little bit more of an inside line. Straight, landing somewhere around this area where we see the drone is, maybe pushing up a little bit further. And occasionally you actually see a roller play a little bit further to the left, trying to curl back. Any of these shots, you're trying to just get to where you have an easy upshot to the basket and landing on the green for your birdie.
Are you throwing a roller here, Dave?
I do not.
No.
I have seen somebody. Quite a few people.
Chris throwing this super overstable giant. Hitting what could have been the last tree to beat for him on the shot. Almost got the full flight. Jason got the full flight. Right side of the fairway has the taller, stickier grass. You're not going to see any skips. If you go down the middle, there's a tighter grass where the dirt and the soil is much harder, so you'll actually get a skip play.
Looked like you might have hit the only telephone pole on the hole.
There's phones out here? What is going on?
Jacob just a bit too high. Needs to fight through a little bit.
And it fights through a lot of it.
It does. It is a
Good for
great
him.
drive. Potentially the best of the card.
What a great vision for a shot and execution. Good shot, Chris. Jason's lining up his up shot. And that's in striking distance for sure. A little bit of a flex. A little turnover.
Right off the pole. Right in line.
I'm used to hitting metal at this point of the round.
Yeah, it seems almost every hole you've done it.
Without it going in.
You know it's supposed to go in the basket, not just hit it?
In the basket.
All right. Just making sure we're clear on the rules of this game.
I need you at the beginning of the next round
Yes.
to inform me of that.
Yep. I'll be sure to be there. And Jacob with the furthest drive has just a jump putt into the green on a par 4.
Smooth putt stroke. It's awesome. Clean. That one went in.
Yes. It's because you missed it low from your
missed-
usual spot that you hit.
Jason speedily getting out of the shot.
Yes. And a star frame on a hole that may not be the most expected star frame on any of the holes.
One
here.
of the challenging things about this course is that the front nine plays pretty quick, pretty smooth, not dramatic elevation change. When you get into the back nine, after playing hole 11, you're just walking up and down this course on a hill. So, stepping into hole 16 here, back uphill for the next 2 holes, it's gonna fatigue you a little bit. Chris misses the micro bush. Let's see what Jason could produce here.
Around the bush.
Around the bush. So Jason's just around the bush. Can we get 3 around the bush?
That looks like it. For such a short hole, it seems like the only obstacle is that bush for you guys. Forget the trees are there. It's just a basket and a bush in this hole. We'll see if Jason can match your 3 throws. Jacob, excuse me. Liss is just a bit early.
Just kind of threw that one into out. They happen sometimes. Can't put a finger on it, but you just move on.
And a fortunate tree kick after another missed release kicks him back into a spot where he actually has a chance to save his par. And he does. Talk about battling in this round. Jacob, every
Wow.
time he's thrown a not great shot, has been able to come back and still has a clean card through 16 holes.
That is awesome. Cleaning up birdies here for Jason, for Chris, for myself. Looking at 16 holes down here in round 1. 2 holes to play as we walk over to hole 17.
And hole 17 playing from the normal long tee, par 3, 260 feet, across a service road in Thompson Park. Uphill, across the road, even more uphill. You really just need to get a shot that's going to shape well, even though you're throwing it up the hill, land it on the green, and it acts a little bit as a backstop, so you can kind of throw it a little bit more power than you usually would, and hopefully the green just slows it down for you. Chris throwing a nice flex shot.
Now, landing in the road on pavement would be the only OB here. You don't have to cross the road. So some early kicks could happen. At that point, you're just hoping for your disc to sit down.
And an almost identical flight from Jay, landing within 5 feet of Chris's. And this is looking good as well. And lands just a few feet from the basket. We're going to get another look at this.
The holding of the follow-through on the tee pad.
Great look.
That looks hilarious. I didn't know I'd do that.
Well, you learn something new every day, I guess.
Wow.
But that was a great shot. He landed
Thank
no
you.
more than 2 feet from the basket. As we see.
Another in-to-out type of earlier release kind of looking shot from Jacob. These are kind of similar holes back to back. I tend to throw the same disc off both tee pads for 16 and 17. I just throw 17 a little harder. So it's just interesting to see that Jacob made the same mistake on what is almost 2 identical holes.
That may be a little bit of his youth showing through, not able to make the correction. I'm sure he'll go back after his round and be able to make correction for next time, but from hole to hole, not necessarily able to do it.
I wonder if he used the same disc.
I was not paying
was
close
a
enough
white disc.
attention, but
So,
it very well might have been.
Jacob, let us know.
Comment down below, Jacob. Thanks.
Inquiring minds would like to know.
So again, 3 birdies on the card for the 3 of you, and a par for Jacob.
Very cool. We're moving on to hole 18. It's the final hole here for the back 9 and for the first round. This is from the short pin position, 447, downhill. It's playing as a par 3. Very attackable, very birdieable. The thing to not do here is overcomplicate this hole. This is a easy to par hole. There's plenty of space here. Hit the gap, get up and down. Chris just needs to miss that tree to get over by the basket for the birdie look.
This is the other hole on the course that is from the white tee.
As we talked in the front 9, that's right. Jason's look like it has the height and it's pushing. It's pretty close. That's pretty close. It's a little short in distance, but that's the shape you're looking for.
You also get over that tree and past the basket.
Where did it go?
We're not sure. There's a pretty steep hill over there.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully it didn't roll down there.
Rip. Beat it.
Oh, and he catches the tree as well.
But in a great spot over there. It's a really good spot to be over on that side.
One thing I really like about Jacob is his back arm extension on his backhand throws. In the slow motion, you can really see on his reach back, he extends his arm as far back as he can in a straight, almost overextending his elbow to get as much power as he can out of his body.
He has all the technique. He has all the skills. It's going to be great watching him in the future and all these coming events to just watch his growth. I mean, he's got it all right now. The sky's the limit for him.
So we see this is where your drive actually landed. 40 feet past the basket. Just a bit left.
And that pretty much sums up my putting for round one.
Yeah.
A lot of not made putts, so just a bunch of missed opportunities. Jacob played pretty smooth, clean round here. He makes this tap in for what is a bogey-free 18 holes on a feature card. I'm beyond impressed. I can't count how many people after the round just wanted to talk about his score, how he carries himself. Everybody on the card agreed that they're just blown away by his performance with us. So, congrats to that great start to your tournament there, Jacob. It was awesome to play with you.
And we'll look at the results from this card. Chris now with a 10 down on the round. Yourself with a 6 down. Jay with a 5, tying with Jacob.
There's a lot of blue up there.
There is a lot of blue, and Jacob,
I have the most red.
Bogey-free round. You win the second place prize of most bogeys.
So this is our leaderboard after round one. Chris Villa is at that -10, like we said. Eric Mel at -7. Myself at a -6 in third place, and Jason Tiligadas in a fourth place. And that's going to be our round 2 card. So, Dave, I had a good time. Looking forward to seeing you on Front 9 round 2. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
See you on the next.